Oh god. Explain myself as a person. My name is Mandolin, or you can call me Rain Song as well. I'm from Taos Pueblo, and I'm an interdisciplinary artist, mostly focusing in filmmaking, mixed media art, and storytelling.
So my name is Ria. I'm a grad student at UNM. I study geography. I am pretty deep in the grad school grind right now, but in general, I study hazards, risk perception and indigeneity.
I would say transdisciplinary is a ongoing curiosity of how things are connected with each other. Kind of expressing that through your passion for all those things. Why are you exploring them?
I think that those spaces are great to be able to come together and for everybody to, show their expertise and build knowledge together from different perspectives. A lot of issues that happen are not solvable by one thing. And so I think that those spaces where you're kind of almost forced together with people that think differently than you are great for instances like that.
Transdisciplinary projects help contribute to the co-production of knowledge just because people that wouldn't normally be talking and interacting with each other are, and they get to share different perspectives, different knowledge bases with each other, and that broadens everybody's understanding as a whole.
I think that transdisciplinary workshops do a good job of fostering kind of transdisciplinary connections in that they open up a network that may not have been there otherwise. A lot of times we end up siloed in our own fields, and I think it can be hard, even if you want to work with people that are coming from other spaces, without having a project or something specific. It's really hard to find a way in to a different space that maybe you don't belong to. And so I think transdisciplinary workshops are a great space to be able to have an in, so to speak, with people and be able to kind of meet people from different disciplines, understand that they think about the same problems as you, just from a different perspective. And so I think that kind of networking and fostering of interpersonal relationships happens through workshops.
All film shoots are in a sense transdisciplinary just because film is very much a science and an art. So I think I kind of fell into that space just automatically with my love for film. That's just how I approach film in general, is very transdisciplinary, trying to figure out where the art meets the science and the science meets the art. And then obviously when you're on a crew, sometimes I'll be a art director, and other times I'll be a grip, which is two completely different sides but trying to express beauty. That's what those things are for.
I've been really lucky, I think, both as a grad student at LSU and here at UNM, to be involved in a couple really transdisciplinary projects where I've worked with, as a geographer, I've worked with engineers, architects, psychologists, kind of a mix of different people on projects looking at resilience and vulnerability and how people respond to hazards. And I think that those spaces are great to be able to come together and for everybody to, show their expertise and build knowledge together from different perspectives.
I don't think I would be the type of person to just walk up to a scientist and feel like I could have a conversation. I'm definitely curious about scientific fields, and in socioeconomic and I guess activist kind of way, that's how I tend to look at them. But when I'm informed by somebody who has like a different way of seeing the world and a different amount of knowledge that they can share with me, it makes me feel a lot more confident about my own views, or maybe question things that I hadn't thought to question in my own perceptions. Like, just makes me a more informed person that's like able to feel power in what they share.
When I was working on a kind of transdisciplinary project as a master's student, we were looking at flood hazard and risk post the 2016 floods in Louisiana. And to me, as like a people person, a lot of what I do is, what do these people want? What's good for the community? What's right here? But I remember some of the more hard science people, like the architects and the engineers, were much more focused on, well, what are we gonna do? And I remember at first being a little bit more like, it doesn't matter if the people aren't on board. And while I do still think that that is there, I feel like I've really come to understand you do need to have some of the discipline that comes from maybe a physical science with the mix of the people part that comes from the social science.
I never thought like a year ago I'd be collaborating with a hazard researcher, especially someone who works so intimately with communities that I care about. I think that's really special and definitely like helps me feel more hopeful about where our future is going, just because like Ria and I didn't have to do this project. We both volunteered to do it, and I think the more that people do those kinds of things, like that's when we start to create the shared future, right? Because we're willing to maybe step out of our comfort zones in like different ways, and be willing to work together and be inspired by each other.
I think the workshops do a great job in kind of increasing confidence across kind of boundaries of disciplinary like kind of differences. I think that it's easy, especially as an early career scientist or grad student, right, to feel like you don't know anything. But when you're around a bunch of professors, right? But when you're in a space like this, where you're paired with other people that are early career or grad students or doing something different than you, suddenly you become the expert in that thing that you're talking about, and you have to feel confident in it. And it's almost a better space to practice because you're not surrounded by a bunch of people who know what you're talking about. You're surrounded by people who are excited about what you have to say. So I think it's the transdisciplinary space that creates the space for you to feel good and like you know things and like build that confidence.
I don't know. It's just beautiful to connect with somebody that has a want to change things.